The clock's just turned 10, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'd really like to welcome everybody on the webinar today. I'm Lisa Covington. I'm the project manager for the Adult Literacy XPRIZE here at the XPRIZE Foundation. A few quick housekeeping items. If you haven't already, please mute yourself to limit background noise. We will take questions at the end. Literation Lounge is about 20 minutes, and then we'll do a Q&A at the end. But please do mute yourself. That will be super helpful. And if you have something to say, I'm happy to kind of go in and unmute you if we have any technical difficulties. So quick introduction. The XPRIZE Foundation, the Adult Literacy XPRIZE, as I'm sure most of you on the phone or on the webinar today know, there's more than 36 million US adults that lack basic English literacy. The $7 million Barbara Bush Foundation Adult Literacy XPRIZE, presented by Dollar General Literacy Foundation, is a global competition challenging teams to develop mobile applications for existing smart devices that result in the greatest increase in literacy skills among participating adult learners in just 12 months. These mobile solutions, and you'll hear a little bit more about them, one in particular today, will improve access, encourage persistence, develop relevant learning content, and be scalable nationwide. So we're really excited today to bring you this Literation Lounge. This series is a twice-a-month speaker series supported by the Barbara Bush Foundation Adult Literacy XPRIZE. The Literation Lounge features experts in the field of ed tech, adult literacy, adult education, and entrepreneurs breaking ground on new ways to solve the world's literacy problems. So this month's Literation Lounge is presented by Vinod Lobo of the Adult Literacy XPRIZE Finalist team, Learning Upgrade. This talk will showcase how anyone with a smartphone can learn English, reading and math to succeed in school, earn a diploma, get a better job, or enter college. The Learning Upgrade app features 960 CCRS-aligned lessons that engage learners through songs, videos, games, and rewards. Adult education providers, including libraries, adult schools, colleges, refugee centers, public housing, and employers are using the app to deliver learning success to low literacy adults. Today we'll find out about a new model using the app that can transform how providers serve their learners. Vinod Lobo is the founder and CEO of Learning Upgrade, which publishes online courses and smartphone apps to teach English, reading, and math through songs, videos, and games, as we stated. In 1998, he brought together educators, musicians, artists, and programmers to produce innovative, engaging lessons designed to support struggling students in reading and math. Through an innovative blend of interactive media technology and educational research, Learning Upgrade has helped over 1 million students find a new path to learning success. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Vinod Lobo, and I'll hand it over to him for our series. Vinod, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lisa. And I'm joined today by Drew Robinson, who's in Los Angeles. I'm in San Diego. Welcome, everyone. We'll go really fast today. We got 20 minutes. What I wanted to do today is we have now enrolled 25,000 adults approximately in adult ed programs all over the country. And from that experience, we've started to develop a certain set of models of things that work. And they work out there in community colleges and libraries and adult schools. So now that we're developing these models, it's time to share it with the public and get feedback and do an iterative process and perfect these, okay? So what I want to do is first tell you what Learning Upgrade is, and then move on to what are these models, okay? So what is Learning Upgrade? Learning Upgrade is a series of 960 lessons right now. We keep producing more that cover math and English with reading and writing, listening. They align to both the Common Core for K-12 and adult CCRS standards for both reading and math. And they use music. So everything is taught with songs, with video, and with games. It's all very highly engaging and interactive, and there's lots of rewards like certificates and things like that. Basically, someone can use the Learning Upgrade program everywhere, meaning on a computer, on a tablet, on their own smartphone, even a prepaid Android phone that costs $50 bought at Walmart will be able to run all the lessons in Learning Upgrade. So I'm going to just play a quick video of the first thing a learner sees when they install the app and log in with the password that their instructor gives them.
Welcome to Learning Upgrade, where you can learn English and math the fun way. The lessons are filled with music, video, games, and rewards. You can start at your level and keep moving up at your own pace. You start on the Courses screen. Select the highlighted course to start. In the Lessons screen, you start on Lesson 1. When you earn 100 points with over 75% correct, you can move up to the next lesson. You will earn a bronze medal for lessons over 75%, a silver for over 90%, and a gold for over 95%. When all of your lessons are complete, you will earn a bronze certificate. You can review to move up to a silver and gold certificate. Then you can move on up to the next course. Ready to learn English and math the fun way? Let's get started.
Okay, that's the first thing a learner sees when they first install a smartphone app and get going. This is their courses screen. And for those of you familiar with Learning Upgrade, you'll say, wait a minute, what is that third row down there? We've always had English and math courses from K to 5 or algebra. But we just added 2 weeks ago a whole new row, and it has reading intervention, pre-algebra, comprehension. But we're really excited about GED and HiSET math. Wow, just in 2 weeks, we've had 3,000 students enrolled in these various courses, so pretty exciting. Okay, I'm gonna play you just a little bit of a lesson just so you know what it's all about.
When you see a long word, break it up into pieces, sound out each piece, and put those sounds together. Basketball, basketball, basketball. There you go. Now moving right along now. Restaurant, restaurant, restaurant. Woo-wee. Now over to the next.
It's listening time. Listen carefully to this word and choose it from the 4-word choices. Press the speaker button to hear it again. Disobey. Disobey.
Okay, so that just gives you a little taste of Learning Upgrade. But what I wanted to go over with you is, what are the models now that are emerging? Now that we've come out of the XPRIZE launch with over 1,000 learners and put 25,000 learners on around the country. So we've got community colleges, literacy programs, public housing, family learning, workplace, refugee centers. And some examples, for example, Queens Public Library, New York, they have 300 learners on. Bunker Hill Community College in Boston. UMI Learning Center, which is African refugees in San Diego. Heartland Alliance in Chicago, working with low-income people in poverty and public housing. And Grand Pacific Resorts enrolling their hotel housekeeping staff in the app. So what are the models that are emerging? The first model I want to talk about is for the WIOA and state-funded programs that have classes, right? So people come into a class and learn, for example, an ESL class or a GED class. So in this model, what happens is one day the teacher enrolls everyone using the web into Learning Upgrade, prints out their passwords, and says, we're going to have a launch party. Everyone pull out your smartphones and install the free Learning Upgrade app. And here's your username, password, log in, do one lesson maybe right now in front of everyone so we get that out of the way. And then you can do this at home as much as you want. What happens here is that the learners go home and do it. The teacher tracks their progress and tells them great job and gives them certificates and says, oh, you haven't played in a couple of weeks, what's the reason? We found out that this model has some aspects that we were not expecting at all. First of all, the learners are helping each other during breaks in class or after class. If there's a new student, one learner will actually help the new learner install the app without the teacher even knowing. And then they'll go to the instructor after class and say, hey, I heard Learning Upgrade. Okay, can I have my password? So what you're finding is learners helping each other. The other thing you're finding is that learners, we thought, would be grabbing lessons on their breaks at work or on the bus and all that. We expected that. What we did not expect is something that we call binge learning. Binge learning is a term we invented that is the same as binge watching on Netflix. What's happening is learners are in bed after the kids go to sleep and they start one Learning Upgrade lesson and then they do one more and one more and one more and they can't stop. So we call this binge learning, and it's actually something we're seeing a lot. Okay, so let me just play you just a little bit of video from Sweetwater to show you what an adult ed classroom with ESL looks like when they blend in a smartphone app. Okay.
Hi, my name is Lisa Sharman, and I am an ESL instructor for Sweetwater Adult Education in Chula Vista, California. I teach at an elementary campus parents of students that attend the elementary school. So after attending the Learning Upgrade workshop, I quickly went back to class and shared what this app that I really liked and enjoyed when I went to the in-service. I asked the students to, if they had a smartphone, to get their phone out and download the app from the store, and it's free, so they were very excited about that. And the lessons are high interest lessons that have songs and music videos. They went home, and in the next few days, they were hooked and very excited about this program, so much so that when I would log in to check the reports on my students, they were logging hours like crazy.
I am Abril Parra, and using Learning Upgrade. Sometimes I use it while wait for my doctor's appointment, my dentist appointment, and sometimes I use it in the evening when my child are working in his homework. And basically I'm right now in the 51 exercise, and I really like it. I think it helps you a lot. For me, it helps me for the nouns, because I was kind of having trouble with that, and I think it's very helpful. So yeah, it's right here, it's the login, and I just put my password. It's really easy, it's really short. Just log in and just press right there the level that you're in, right here.
Look at this passage.
Okay, so what happened in Lisa's class? Day one, pull out your smartphone, enroll, start, and then track them with reports. So here's what a report looks like. Drew, can you just explain this report real quick?
Sure. Yeah, so this is our student monitor. It's our most popular report for teachers to track a class. And so each one of these is going to represent a course. So as you see, the abbreviation on the left there is for our English Upgrade 1. And then each one of those tiles is going to represent one of the 60 lessons within that course. So as you saw in the video, if you get a 75%, up to 89%, you'll get the bronze. The white is going to represent silver, so 90 to 94. And then if you got gold, which is 95% up to 100% on one of those lessons, then you'll get a gold. And so the really valuable thing about this report is that you can see it live and in real time. It'll update for you. And when it is a live report, you can hover over each one of those tiles, and it'll give you real-time data on how the students are doing. So if they've played it multiple times, what their scores are. And that comes in handy when you're looking at these red tiles. That means they got below 75%, and they'll have to play that lesson again. So if you hover over and you see they've played it one time, they got a 68%, that student's on their way to being able to play again and pass. Sometimes what we'll see, though, is they've played it 3 times with a high score in the 40s or 50s. And that's an opportunity for a teacher to have some one-on-one time, or if it's a tutor-based program, like with our literacy centers and libraries, and then you can spend some one-on-one time on that content area with the student.
Okay, good. So what happened at Sweetwater was totally unexpected. We worked with them for years before we had smartphones, and we typically got 30 minutes a week at Sweetwater out of learners because they had to use the computers at the school, right, at the adult school, which is very hard, to come all the way to the adult school and use the computer lab. As soon as we introduced smartphones, we went from 30 minutes a week to 2 to 6 hours a week, okay? Imagine that difference, 30 minutes, 2 to 6 hours. All of a sudden, it used to take 6 months to 9 months to finish a course, and we had people finishing a course in 1 month, okay? Unheard of. We had people getting out of ESL and going into ABE on CASAS in 3 months. So we never saw something like this, and it was because of a smartphone giving you an opportunity to do time on task, okay? These were the CASAS gains in that very first class, the class that you saw on the video. So for the ones 210 or below, which was the XPRIZE criteria, 3rd grade or below, they showed an average 7.8 points CASAS gain in reading in 10 weeks. So this helped us, I think, get into the semifinals and the trials with the XPRIZE. Okay, so that's a classroom model. We've added GED and HiSET to this now, and we saw, I still can't believe the numbers, but for students who failed HiSET math multiple times, they did our courses, and they spent 80 to 130 hours on our app. And all of them passed. All of them have diplomas now. But the time on task was unheard of. We've never seen that kind of time on task in 3 months. Okay, so I want to talk about the tutor model. The thing dramatically different about the tutor model than what we expected at the beginning is that in libraries all over this nation, people wait anywhere from 1 month to 12 months for a tutor. In Miami-Dade, it's up to 12 months. In New York and in LA and in San Diego, it's 2 to 6 months. So we have a new model, which is someone calls an 800 number. I want to learn how to read. They come in to a branch, an assessor tests them like normal. But now it's not, oh, wait for 2 to 6 months and then we'll find you a tutor. Now it's pull out your phone, install the Learning Upgrade app, and start learning now. Just get to work now. We'll track you and we'll get you a tutor as soon as we can. And then what happens is by the time they get to a tutor, in San Diego, we've had people earn certificates before they ever reach a tutor. And they've learned phonics, decoding, sight words, grammar, writing. So they start tutoring at a much higher level, for one thing. Second thing is the day the tutor gets a new learner, they get this beautiful report. It shows you, oh, this student's strong on double vowels, but they're weak on informational comprehension. So the tutor starts with a lot more information than they've ever had, okay? So this new model of tutoring blended with smartphones, the smartphone does not end when the tutor starts. The tutor will keep monitoring your smartphone use, might even log in during the tutor session on the phone to see where the learner is. The tutor might hand the learner a certificate and congratulate them. They have certificate parties where people come in, So it's a blending of tutor and home, okay? And the other model that really has been very successful lately, I want to have Drew talk about, which is family-based learning model. We're doing this a lot in migrant education in Los Angeles. So Drew, can you explain that model?
Sure, yeah, this one really started with migrant education for San Gabriel Valley, LAUSD, and then just recently we got started with Rosemead. And for the migrant education, we have, the largest here in California. And we started out working at the K-12 level with students. They have the students come in on Saturdays. But after talking with the director of San Gabriel Valley, they also have a parent academy. And so the parents come in on Saturdays as well. And one of the difficult things with migrant education is that the students switch schools frequently. And a lot of the times the parents will have to move for a job, and then they come back later. Sometimes they don't. And so speaking with the director, Joyce, she wanted to provide a certain continuity and stability for these students who at the school level don't always get to enjoy that. And so we deployed the Learning Upgrade app, and we started out enrolling all of their students first. And then I came on a Saturday and did a 3 or 4 hour training and got all of the parents enrolled as well. And it's been incredible to see, as Vinod was speaking earlier, we used to get about 30 minutes of that time on task in the, the computer labs and library labs. And then as we switched to the smartphone, it jumped, 2, 4, 6 hours. And then what we see with the families is it seems to jump even a little bit more. They're able to help their students with homework. And that's one of the things I hear from the parents the most. And we find that with our refugee centers as well, is that a lot of the times the parents, they do it to better their own career prospects. But one of the big motivating factors is to improve the lives of their own children. And so they have that double motivation. And when they're completing Learning Upgrade alongside their children, there's that little bit of competition and encouragement as well. So that's really been our model, is getting in on the weekends and working hard on Saturday mornings to make sure that everybody has access to the app, and then giving the teachers and admins the tools through reporting to make sure they can keep in touch with those students and parents, even when life takes them away from the program.
So and I'll wrap up with the final model here, which is non-traditional programs. This is where we've had a lot of activity. This is refugee centers, churches, public housing, homeless shelters. What we're doing is, or even if they don't have a tutor or a class or anything, okay, we will still enroll learners. And so we had Umi Learning Center. Some of you have seen the video on our website, where Somali and North African refugees who are illiterate in every language, they're not literate in any language, and they onboarded them at the refugee center into the app, even though they don't have tutors, and then they're able to do this at home. And then because they meet all the time at the refugee center, the learners themselves kind of become, their own instructor. They talk to each other, and they have informal learning circles. David Rosen's on here, and he's written a lot about this, and going to be writing a lot more about the app side of learning circles. I feel this is a new frontier, because if we're going to reach 36 million adults who can't read, it's not going to all be through traditional adult schools and libraries. It also has to be through a variety of non-traditional models. And the smartphone app allows people who've never even dreamt about having a literacy program before to be able to track learners and onboard them and give them certificates. So it's kind of a revolution, I think, in the ability for non-traditional programs, including, by the way, employers, because we just had a hotel chain enroll their housekeeping staff, English learners, over 100 of them in Learning Upgrade, and they've just given out their first certificates. So they would never have thought to do literacy before. They've only done workplace training, and none of these housekeepers were able to ever do workplace training because they couldn't read. So now all of a sudden, the hotel can become a literacy provider, and move people up to the level where the workplace training is finally going to work for them. They were all non-mobile workers. They were not socially mobile, and now they can move up. So those are the models that we wanted to go over: the classroom model, the tutoring model, which is used in a lot of libraries, the family literacy model, where we enroll both parents and children in our program, each with their own username and password. The whole family uses the parent's phone, and the institution can track them anywhere they are. And then the final model, which is a non-traditional model. You don't have necessarily formal instruction or tutoring, but you can still do quite a lot of literacy work ad hoc, and use the learners to talk to each other and use facilitators. So those are kind of all the models we wanted to talk about, and we wanted to open it up for questions, comments. Lisa?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Vinod and Drew. That was wonderful. Thank you. If you have questions at this time, feel free to put them in the chat box, and we'll move them forward. We do have one on deck already, and that's from Daphne Matthews. She'd like some more information on the $50 phone the presenter spoke of in the beginning.
Okay. If you look at your screen right now, I have one of them right here. One of the things I didn't realize before I did the Adult Literacy XPRIZE is that there's really two Americas when it comes to phones. Most of us are running around with $600 phones, okay, iPhones and Samsungs and things. And then there's the low-income America that has prepaid phones that cost between $50 and $120. And if you go into Walmart or Target, you can just pick these up and buy them for cash. No plan, no nothing. And this is one of them right here. This cost me $49.95. And even though my staff, it drives them nuts, we never release a lesson for Learning Upgrade that doesn't work on this phone that's in my hand right now. Okay, so that's what I meant by a $50 phone. You can get them on Amazon and Walmart and Target. And a lot of the country, the low income and people in poverty, are using these. And this is the revolution. This is the great equalizer. 5 years ago, a family in the suburbs had a huge advantage over a low-income family because a low-income family couldn't use Google Docs, couldn't use Classroom, couldn't use all these different tools. Now, with this $50 smartphone, guess what? They can do Learning Upgrade, they can do a lot of things. This is the great equalizer, and I think that's part of this revolution that the XPRIZE competition has started. I also wanted to mention, because I forgot, that any of you can just go to learningupgrade.com and click on Request Pilot, and you will get a free pilot for starting with 30 students, I think, all the way up till the end of December. So you can put learners on, and you can have them go all the way to a certificate. You can use our new GED courses, anything you like. So then there's no cost. So go to Learning Upgrade and start banging on the courses and enrolling people.
Great, thank you. Vinod, Hector Martinez is wondering, how can an organization obtain a school ID?
And that is, that's what I just mentioned. So all you have to do is go to learningupgrade.com, click on Request Pilot at the top, fill in that form, and then Drew will send you a pilot. That pilot will include instructions. So you could be enrolling your learners tomorrow, and they could start on the courses tomorrow. We also give free web-based training like this. We have 20, 30-minute sessions where we can get you up to speed. And that's all at no cost. And it's all to just try to get you to try the program. So just go to learningupgrade.com, click Request Pilot, and you can put learners on tomorrow.
Great. Okay. Okay. Sonia is asking, with adult learners using this as part of the classroom/home model, how much time on average are you seeing students using the app at home?
Okay, thanks, Sonia. Basically, first of all, most of the time that someone spends on our our program or on our app is at home, okay? Very little is in the classroom because instructors have a lot to do in the classroom. So I would say that 80–90% of the time is at home, and we're typically seeing 2 to 6 hours at home when you've got an active learner that's wanting to meet a certain goal. For example, to become literate, pass the GED, you know, complete AB math. When you have motivated learners, 2 to 6 hours a week at home, and sometimes it's less, but what we're finding is most of the work, again, is done at home. Yes, there are programs that have computers and they get a lot of time there and all that, but for the most part, it's home. By the way, the other thing that's happening, which is unexpected, that class you saw in the video at Sweetwater has no computer lab on the site. But what people do is they sit with their smartphones using the Wi-Fi at the school, and they all do Learning Upgrade together with their own phones, but at the site. So you don't need a computer lab. You could do smartphone learning together, which is also what UMI Learning, the Refugee Center, does. They all sit together and do our courses, but they have no computer lab. They just use their own smartphones and the Wi-Fi at the center.
Great, thank you, Vinod. Okay, are there any other questions? All right, let's see. Oh, David has a question. Have you thought about developing a model using an internet in a box for corrections where access to the internet by inmates would be non-existent?
We have thought about it because a lot of, first of all, youth corrections uses our programs a lot. And part of the reason is people who are in the judicial, justice system move around a lot, from special schools to court system to mainstream, all over. And our courses follow that because they're internet-based. Now we're trying to think of basically a way that they could do this offline on the app in a prison setting, and then basically catch up to online later and distribute the lesson results later. Obviously, there's so many rules in a prison with internet. So, and yet, without internet, you lose a lot of the benefits of tracking, the ability to track students. So, yeah, David, we're trying to figure it out. It's a very tough problem. It is a very tough problem. If you can take a device into the prison and have them work without internet, then pull it out of the prison and turn Wi-Fi on and sync, that would be the ideal. And we're actually thinking that through right now. Yeah.
Okay, great. We have 2 last questions and then we'll wrap up the session. Daphne is asking, what is the cost?
What you can do, one of the things you can do is hit a quote button for exact cost on the website to get it. But generally, it's in the $30 per learner per year range, which means that the learner could do all of our courses and all of our lessons and have a 1 year of access. And if a learner leaves your program, you can put a different learner on that same license. So if that makes sense. But if you hit quote, you can get an exact quote from us on the website.
Great, thank you. And John is asking, what is the age range of children in the family learning model?
Well, our courses start at kindergarten. So we have English kindergarten and math kindergarten. So, you can put the 5-year-olds on and all the way up to, we have math 8 and algebra, which are sort of middle and early high school. So you can put a lot of different children on. And then also we have a placement test. So a lot of times you have middle school children, but they're really at the elementary level. So when you use the placement test, someone in the middle school may be doing English 3. And then sometimes we have English learners who do English 1, but they're really quite advanced in math, and they'll do math 6, okay? So we usually enroll them in both English and math at the same time.
Great. Okay, well, we've gone just a little bit over, so we'll wrap up. Huge thank you to Vinod and Drew for your time today. Vinod, if you might end sharing, I'll just put up one last two last slides here. Hold on one second. Okay, great. So just to wrap up, for anyone wanting to kind of get a little more involved, the $1 million Adult Literacy XPRIZE Communities Competition is a 15-month-long national competition that will expand access to education for adults through the use of technology such as this. Using mobile literacy apps, competitors in the communities competition will enable 1 million adult learners to acquire the skills they need to lead more empowered lives. 1 million new adult learners will help grow our workforce, contribute to our economy, and disrupt the cycle of poverty in their communities and families. If you'd like to learn more about how you can get involved and how XPRIZE provides the educational apps, we encourage you to register and visit at communities.xprize.org, as you see up on the screen right now. And for those of you who joined us today, you will get an invitation. Our next Literation Lounge will be October 10th at 10 a.m. and we look forward to seeing you there. Just again, a huge thank you to Vinod and Drew for your time today, and to all of those that participated. We look forward to seeing you at the next Literation Lounge, and thank you.